have any questions, you can feel free to start lining up there with the microphone. We're going to get to as many as we can. I'd like to start off by asking Will. Golly in the film, he has sort of cross purposes with Thomas's villain character in terms of how they approach their situation and their destiny. Can you talk a little bit about your character?
Sure, man. I'm still freaking out a little bit after that. That was really awesome. We haven't seen it like properly either, so it was cool for us. Yeah, so Gally was a really interesting challenge to me, and I'd like to again pass on my thanks to Wes, who trusted me with the role. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I guess he's the closest thing to the villain in the story, but really what I think we tried to do collaboratively is create a character who was more conflicted than just kind of one-way inclined and villainous. I think a lot of what was in James's book and a lot of what ended up being on the page was kind of rational and empathetic from Gally. I think you could see his side of the story, even if you didn't necessarily agree with it. You kind of saw where he was coming from, which was important for me. You know, I actually respected the kid. I kind of I could appreciate his point of view. But I suppose the main thing about Gally, which we kind of drew out, is that he's a bit of a coward, and he is totally willing to be confined to the glade, which is that kind of manufactured environment that you see encased in the four walls. He's made that his home, and he's fearful of what is kind of on the outside world. And there's allusions to maybe, you know, the fact that he has some memory of what might be out there. Whereas Dylan has this, I think, or sorry, I should say Thomas, has this, we love each other in real life, can I just say. We're like full on, you know, it's fully romantic. But Thomas kind of seems to have this guttural, sort of instinctive urge to escape. And so we're polar opposites to the spectrum, and you know, that's why on a couple of occasions it almost comes to blows between the two of us. We kind of hate each other in the film, which I guess you'll see.
And Kai, let's talk a little bit about being the only female amongst, not only in the role of Teresa amongst all these guys at the Glade, but also as yourself as an actress as well. What was your experience there?
It was wonderful. I mean, I've grown up around a load of guys, loads of my friends are boys, and I really like the fun you can have around boys, because they kind of talk crap a lot, and it's fun. And we had a wonderful time. We all kind of bonded straight away, and it's I feel so comfortable with them. It's very kind of brotherly, because they look after me, but they also bully me, and it's nice. I feel like I'm on the same level as them, and it helped me understand her so much more, and her need to be as strong as possible and just survive straight away, to be able to prove herself, which I think she does.
Right, and I think that's basically because, like, in the story, there really isn't much of a love story between the two. It's more of a mysterious connection that plays itself out over the narrative, and something hopefully we'll be able to explore further. But it helped that basically Kai became kind of one of the boys, and could throw down the best of them. So.
All right, let's go out to the audience for a couple questions. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, I'm Kayla. I was just wondering, like, in particular, if you had any scene that you found like the most fun to shoot or anything like that.
Let's ask all the actors now. What was the most fun and the most grueling experiences for you making the film?
Every scene was the most grueling.
The whole movie. Did you
Most trailer? I sacrificed limbs on this movie. The most fun was, I don't know, I really liked our wrestling scene.
That was fun.
That was just one that was awesome, that we rehearsed from, you know, a week before we started production, and we didn't shoot until about 3 weeks in, and it's just such a scene that kind of reminds me of, you know, movies that I loved as a kid growing up. And it's, you know, I loved that it's sort of, for Thomas, the first kind of glimpse you get into seeing how strong he is. You know, he takes on Gally in the ring, and it's really cool. It's really fun. It's a great scene.
Yeah, I would echo what Bill said and say that was kind of one of my favorite scenes as well. And then also, like, weirdly, the scenes where, you know, we really get into it as characters and we're like facing off with each other. And this isn't something you'd maybe expect on a platform as big as, you know, a Fox film like this, and a film film that, you know, is based on such a popular novel, but, you know, we also got a lot of opportunity to really act in this movie. You know, we were allowed to improvise, we were really allowed to bring our own thoughts and ideas to the table, you know. I'm sorry, Kayla, this is your question, should be directed to you. And you know, the West is all about collaboration. I should also say, we weren't laughing at you, by the way. There was someone being an idiot behind you, so that's why we were laughing. It wasn't you. Oh, I think I just got flicked off. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. That's great.
The whole age, Will.
Yeah. See you outside. We'll wrestle.
That's
Yeah. Kai, what about you?
For me, what I enjoyed the most, me and Dylan spent a day on top of a tree together. And it was just so random, and it kind of is the beauty of this job. It's this gorgeous tree house thing that was built specifically for the film, and was really big, and was a real tree, and swung in the wind. And it was the first day where we become friends, but I think it's where we kind of really spent time together as actors and kind of juggled with each other. And for me, it was just a beautiful day of work, because I got to just be one-on-one with him and see the magic that he makes. And it was really pretty up there as well.
My favorite scene was the one scene that I was in.
There is a cameo.
You guys gotta look for me in the movie, alright?
Alright, we will. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, I actually have a question for Kaya. I'm a big fan of yours from seeing Skins.
Yay!
Thank you.
Hey.
Not the American one, right? The English one.
So I was wondering how your character development was different when filming this than from playing Effie.
I had a lot of time with Effie. I was 14 when I started playing her, so I lived out my teenage issues through her, and I was going through all those things at the same time. And she was a very deep character. She's a very important character to me. But with this, it was fun because I could just be completely angry and, you know, hungry. And I loved that about this character. She arrives and she's not trying to make friends with anyone. You know, she's not kind of playing mediator between people. She just wants to survive, and she wants to know who she is and where she is. And there's something I really admire about her that I haven't really had before with the character. She kind of, you know, she made me feel a bit braver. And that, you know, the whole thing, I think as a young woman, sometimes you feel like you have to fit a certain box and you have to be a certain person. And both Effie and Teresa were always their own people, and I really respect that. And I kind of wish I could be a little bit more like that sometimes. But they both really inspire me, and I'm glad I got to play both of them.
Great, thanks. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, I'm Angelica. My question was there anything in the book that didn't quite make it to the movie that you wish would have?
Well, that's probably my question.
So these two like have a full-on fight.
They're gonna wrestle.
You know, there's the obvious challenges of turning a book into a movie, but I think basically all the favorite scenes that the fans have of the book will be in the movie. You know, we definitely changed stuff that I felt like wouldn't be very visual, or things that just that wouldn't play cinematically like they do in a novel. But it was all about sort of, you know, condensing down the story and making sure that the escalation of tension and sort of suspense and all that great stuff and momentum was the important thing of the movie. So anything that kind of fell away was usually in that sense, but I'm not going to give away the spoilers of what they are. Sorry.
You know, if anybody would be the harshest critic, you'd think it would be me, because I wrote the book. And I can honestly tell you that every change that had to be made perfect sense and helped the spirit of the book translate even better than the literal translation would have to the big screen. You guys, you're going to love it. That is not a worry.
Hi there, what's your question?
Hi. With all of the YA dystopian movies and books out there, Maze Runner has been one of the few that actually has a male character that's really strong and really developed. How do you think Thomas will hold up in more of a general crowd of the movies? Because they see people like Tris Pryor, Captain Severdeen, or, you know, which one will win the fight, whichever you want to answer. It's fine.
Thomas, so you answer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he'd run away, he could dodge it. Yeah, I don't know, it's funny hearing that, you know, I forget that, yeah, a lot of these YA movies that are out right now are strong female roles. I think that's great. I think usually what I'm used to is seeing a lot of strong male roles. It's great that I get to play one. I'm really in love with this character. I love kind of how he, you know, he gets a fresh start and a new chance at discovering things inside him that he never knew, you know, in his life before. And I think in this specific case it's courage and strength and a sense of leadership, you know. And it's great to kind of follow his journey, you know, starting as the greening, the newbie, and kind of following his just sort of utter defiance throughout the film, and not willing to just go along with everything, and not willing to just let his fear, you know, kind of hold him back. He sort of genuinely rather die than spend the rest of his life in that glade. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a blessing to play. You know, it's really cool, and I'm sort of a really big fan of, like, you know, that kind of ordinary kids in extraordinary circumstances, you know. So those were sort of my favorite movies growing up, so it's great to get to play, you know, and portray it.
Yeah.
Besides the maze, which is the most obvious hurdle in front of these characters, what they're dealing with, the thing that terrifies me are the Grievers. Can we talk about those just a little bit? Wes, how did you bring those to the screen in order to convey the terror that they certainly do in James' book?
Yeah, the Grievers are obviously, you know, very key parts of the book. These kind of guard dogs that are out in the maze and sort of terrorize these kids as they try to just escape this place. They are basically their greatest fear. They're very cool. They're for me, I was looking at things like Jurassic Park and Alien and those kinds of movies, and the opportunities that I had to kind of play up the kind of monster movie aspects of this thing. And so designing it was actually a lot of fun. It was me and another designer named Ken Barthelemy. We communicated basically over email and designed this thing together, and I handed it off to Method, and they kind of brought it to life. But it was really just taking sort of the basic ideas that James put in the book, and the general idea of being sort of a Frankenstein, a sort of biomechanical creation, is what was an intriguing idea. And I think you'll notice that I'm trying very hard to, in the marketing, not give away these things too much, because I believe in the idea of surprise in the theater.
We have time for just a couple more questions, if you guys have some more. Hi there, what's your question?
Hi, I'm Taryn. I was just wondering, in the book, you see that the characters got their names from significant people in history, and you mentioned that Minho was a name that you kind of created, but I was wondering about Fry Pan. Who would really name your child that?
That is a very specific question. Very good. You know, in the very first draft of the Maze Runner, we found out that Fry Pan's real name was Siggy, which is probably why he goes by Fry Pan. So you can do a little brainstorming and research and see who he might have been named after with the name Siggy. I'll leave it at that. Oh, I just gave it away.
Is it short for Sigmund, by any chance?
Yes.
Oh. I win. I think we have time for one more question.
I am Nika. And I'm Hannah. And our question's for Dylan. We just wanted to say that we loved you. And our question is, what was the most difficult scene you filmed?
Thank you guys, first of all. So sweet, and I love the dual question. Chuck's death. Spoiler. Sorry, man. I'm under a lot of pressure up here.
We're gonna forget who said that.
Kids, you didn't hear that.
Someone's death in the film. Oh God, I'm gonna get yelled at.
Sorry, we're not all book fans. This is okay.
Now we know that there is more to the story. It doesn't all wrap up nice and neat in the first book. There's 2 more books that tell the story across the...
Yeah, what's very cool about this...
Are we just abandoning this? This seems so weird. This is weird. We showed up in Griever, we can't talk about something that's in the book.
That's the truth. It is in the book.
It is in the book.
But don't tell everyone else who don't know that.
Right.
Most of you already forgot what he said anyway. If you haven't read the book.
Have you guys read the book?
All right.
There you go. Most people are ready.
You forgive me, Bill. That's right.
Hey, you've seen that Grievers? There's a lot of people that die.
Yeah.
Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker's father.
You guys are mean.
What? I didn't know that. Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
This is going horribly.
Are there plans for filming the next 2 books as well?
Yeah, so,
Scorched House is
what's very interesting about this book, it's got a pretty damn ballsy ending, that, you know, we see this as, you know, potentially being a really cool saga to tell in multiple movies, of course. I mean, it does fit into that zone, but we think that we could do something really, really special with the next one based on the characters and sort of the family that you kind of learn to love in this first movie. And we are really excited about possibly being able to, you know, of course, it all depends if you guys all go out and see the movie, being able to possibly, you know, make this thing into a real true saga where we can really open up the story and have a lot more, you know, a lot more suspense and scares and a lot more kind of drama and really good, you know, character story stuff. And what's really great about the sequel that James wrote is that it's in a completely different environment than our first maze.
Thanks for watching. To find out more Movie Guide content, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to hear more about Hollywood Buzz and know before you go.